or possibly Baker because he's in Cleveland. It's not that they're not capable. It's just the situation that they're in.
Exactly. I agree with you definitely. I think I think it's between Allen and Rosen and Baker, between those three. I don't think Darnold's going to. I think Darnold, like I said, Darnold has the most upside. Lamar's not going to play for a while. Flacco
Yeah.
stared. He's not going to play for a while. So with Rosen, Rosen needs to be tested. As his coach is old, which is it's kind of messed up because his old coach said he needed to be tested, which he does. But I've been saying that for a while. But he's on Arizona. Larry Fitzgerald is going to retire after this year. I guarantee he's going to retire after this year, unless he plays another year, which I won't be too surprised if he does. But they don't have any other weapons other than that. I don't think they have John Brown no more. He's left.
Yeah,
Um,
he's gone.
yeah, their tight end. I don't know. I forgot who their tight end is. I know it's not Jermaine Gresham. I know it used to be. I know it's not Jermaine Gresham. Like, and then David Johnson. He does have David Johnson. That's going to be his one perk. He does have David Johnson. He can, and David Johnson can go out the backfield. He can catch it. He can run. So it's going to take pressure off him. I just don't see him though having that stability as far as weapons wise that he's going to actually succeed in that position. And also I didn't like what he said after the draft too. Yeah, you got to have that chip on your shoulder, which I already knew he had a chip on his shoulder because his interviews before the draft. But he over there, he said it was 9 mistakes taken before him, and he got upset that he was upset that nobody picked him. Like, it sounded too much like a crybaby move. It sounded like Eli Manning a little. But
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Because it sounded like he wanted to not necessarily make himself a villain, but he wanted to put added pressure on himself. Maybe that's how he. But given that you just go out there and say mistakes, now you're talking to those other rookies. You're almost putting a target on your back.
exactly, exactly. And then with Allen too. Yeah, with Allen because it said Rosen. With Allen, I'm not too sold on him. I think he has potential, which you should have potential if you went to Wyoming and like no one actually saw what you could actually do. But with Allen, he threw for like I think he threw for like 1,800 yards at Wyoming, and he didn't look good. He didn't look too good this season to me. But he has that Big Ben built, and like he can throw it. He has his arms amazing. In the combat. He threw the ball 80 yards. He threw the 80-yard accurate too. So it's like he has potential, but I just like I said, him from his game tape from college, I didn't see where he can be that great quarterback, but he might be. And he's on the Bills. The wide receivers are who are the wide receivers? Oh, Zay Jones. They have Zay Jones.
Yeah,
Um,
they got him. They got Kelvin Benjamin.
yeah, Kelvin Benjamin. That's right. They got Zay Jones and Kelvin Benjamin. So he does have weapons over there. The running back is John McCoy still, and like I said, he has weapons, so it definitely can work for him there. I mean, they made it to the playoffs this year, which is amazing for the Bills to make it to the playoffs. So
Yeah.
I,
After
I
not
think
even
they,
being there this entire millennium.
yeah, that's why I said it was amazing that they made it to the playoffs. And then like people love the dog Tyrod Taylor, but I don't think you can dog him that much. So we'll see about that too.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting how things play out. I was upset at because I think AJ McCarron ended up going to Buffalo from Cincinnati, and I was hoping he'd get his shot. But now with the drafting of Allen, I'm not sure if they're gonna go immediately to Allen or they'll give AJ McCarron a shot because I loved AJ McCarron when he was in Alabama, and I was begging for him to get in the game when he was in Cincinnati, even when they almost beat the Steelers in the playoff game.
Yeah,
But I was really a big fan of him. I was hoping he'd finally get his shot, but yet again he's gonna have to battle. So hopefully we'll find out how things play out. I'm hoping that Allen does well because when I was in college and I was playing football in college, I was around a ton of Bills fans. So if they were find themselves in the playoffs every year, that'd be great for their fan base and the people
oh,
out
it
there.
is. It is. Their fan base is hilarious, and they might have one of the most. They have one of the funniest fan bases. The Bills Mafia is hilarious. What they be doing is hilarious, but I respect it though because they love their team. So I can't complain about it at all.
Yeah, agreed.
Um, so I'm gonna go to the Steelers pick. Like I said, you're a Steelers fan. Y'all got Tremaine Edwards, right? No, I mean no. Y'all got his brother. Y'all got Terrell Edmonds, I think.
Yeah.
How do you like that pick?
Well, we definitely needed originally I think the Steelers were gonna try to get a linebacker. But I believe all four of the highest graded linebackers were off the board by the time the Steelers had to pick.
They were.
So given that I think the last offensive person that the Steelers drafted in the first round was quite some time ago. So they definitely need help on the defense because that's the Achilles heel. So them picking up a safety is something that's it's very necessary because just let go of Mike Mitchell, he's gone, and brought in Burnett from Green Bay, but he's aging. Sean Davis, we drafted him a couple years back, but we still need that number one safety who you know is going to be a presence on the field. Now, this pick in particular, Edmonds, he was graded to go possibly in the third round, late second, third round pick. So I'm hoping they saw something in him that would make them want to get a first round pick out of him rather than, just making history with him and his brother being drafted in the first round. So I'm
Right.
hoping there's more to it. He does have dreadlocks, so maybe there could be something special there.
Hey man, the power of dreadlocks. You say it all the time. It might be, just maybe. Um,
Yeah.
I think, like I said, I watched him in Virginia Tech a little. I didn't watch him too much. I watched him a little. I didn't think he was gonna go in the first round. I definitely did not think he was gonna go in the first round. So it surprised me that he did. I think he's a good player. I think he has potential. I can't remember the last day I had like a great safety. So hopefully, I mean, he can be that good safety for y'all. He has his upsides though. I mean, he does love to hit. He's a decent cover on safety too. So it's iffy with him. Like I said, y'all linebackers got taken, so there's nothing really I could do with that. But like, hey, I think he can definitely be good. Um, with that being said, hit one more thing. I'm a Broncos fan, so we're gonna talk about us getting Bradley Chubb, and I think that was amazing. That was an amazing pick. I wanted Baker. Baker obviously wasn't there. I wanted Saquon. Saquon wasn't there. Next best thing on the board for us was Nick Chubb. I think it was a great pick. Great defense in. I'm excited to see if we're gonna put him at right in, or we're gonna put him at left in or left outside linebacker because we have Shane Ray still, so we might
Yeah.
actually have him play the left end and have Shane Ray resting on the same side or him resting in the same side as Von Miller. But the kid is great. Like he's gonna be amazing. I feel like he's that one talent. Hopefully he pans out. I think he will though. He's high motor. It's not like how it was where I was iffy about how Myles Garrett was because I thought Myles Garrett was lazy, but I definitely still think Myles Garrett was a great player off of straight athleticism and stuff. So I feel the same way about him, but I don't feel like he's lazy. So I'm excited to see what he does.
I think that's a phenomenal pick because I love this kid's motor. I like how he's just relentless. Moreover, where I think they should put him on the line is on the same side as Von Miller because whoever the right tackle and right guard is, they're going to be in for a day the entire game. Moreover, you're going to have to, if you line up in, let's say, an I formation, the fullback is going to have to go to the right. So if you're a defensive coordinator, you know where they're going to have to send the additional protection. So you can send whatever blitzes to the opposite side and just let Chubb and Von Miller do their job. Because I think this guy is going to be a perennial All Pro, perennial Pro Bowler. He's going to be tearing up whoever lines up, whether they're going to be a future Hall of Fame or anything. I think this guy has high potential, and especially going to a team like Denver that predicates themselves on defense. He's in the right environment, the right culture. All he got to do is just get down with the get used to the air out there with the high altitude, or is it
Yeah,
low
high
altitude?
altitude when nobody
Yeah,
can
so
play.
yeah, as long as he can get used to that and he'll just get the oxygen, he'll be all right.
I definitely agree with you. All right, so of course the second and third rounds today. It's a couple people still left on the board. You got Mason Rudolph, of course. You got Mason Rudolph. You got a couple wide receivers still. Who do you like? Any Darius Geis? You still got Nick Chubb. So like, do you see anybody you're interested in that might get taken off the board today that's piqued your interest at all?
Possibly for the future, I think I would get somebody like a Mason Rudolph to back up Big Ben because you never know when Ben is going to end up retiring. So he was contemplating it at one point. So if depending on how this season pans out, because if the Steelers were to go on to win the Super Bowl, I don't think Big Ben would return to try to repeat. He would probably retire immediately because he said the only reason why he's playing is to get a ring for the offensive line. So we'll find out how that plays out. As for running backs, I'm not sure what in the long term what they're going to do with Le'Veon Bell. I think at the end of this season they're probably going to try to give him a lengthy contract. So I don't think there's to go get a running back. The receiver set is okay, but defensively, hopefully there's a linebacker that's there. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head because I did want the guy from Alabama, but he was gone already. So
Yeah,
I'm hoping there's some other defenders. I'm hoping there's some other defenders who are available who could pick up. But as of right now, off the top of my head, it's the Mason Rudolph or possibly, if necessary, get that wide receiver from Memphis.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. I can't think of his name right now, but I definitely know what you're talking about. I'm guessing you're talking about Raekwon Smith too from Alabama, because
Yeah.
yeah, he was. Yeah, I say he. I would honestly, I wouldn't have been mad if the Broncos would have took him too in the first round, because he's definitely a one. He's a great. He's a great player.
Yeah, and
Um,
I last year I wanted Reuben Foster too, but the pick right before the Steelers was San
yep.
Francisco. They picked up Foster, so I said, all right, get a Watt, and it turned out well.
Yeah, for sure. Browns got Nick Chubb too. Browns added Nick Chubb. They just added Nick Chubb too.
Oh wow.
That'd be even though they have David. I mean, who they have there? I mean, no, who's their running back?
Isaiah
Duke.
Crowell, no, they let him
They
go.
got Isaiah Crowell and Duke Johnson. They got Isaiah Crowell and Duke Johnson. So I don't know how it's gonna work out, but hey, they
No,
had it.
I think Crowell ended up going to the Jets, so I think it's just Duke Johnson right now. I think they let go of
Okay,
Crowell.
that'd be good for him because Nick Chubb is not. He's not gonna be able to be a feature back because his ACL. I don't think he'll be able to be a feature back unless, like I said, like he might be able to because this season he definitely did good, but he still had Sony Michelle there, so he kind of did a dual running back system. So this actually
Yeah.
might work out for him. It might work out for him very good.
Yeah, and I think Michelle ended up going to the was it the Patriots?
Yeah,
Yeah,
great.
so he's gonna turn into another Dion Lewis.
Only thing about because they said before the draft he has bone on bone. They didn't know about that. But they took a chance on him. He has bone on bone though in his knees, I think. So
Oh
that's a
man.
little scary. But like I said though, he went to the Patriots. I like that's an amazing pick by them. That was an amazing pick by them.
Yeah. Agreed.
But
I'm interested to see what they're gonna do in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson, knowing that he's gonna sit. This is gonna be the year for Joe Flacco to figure out if he's gonna be elite or if he's just gonna be average. Because if he doesn't get it done this year, I wouldn't be surprised if by week 16 they throw Lamar Jackson into the game.
I wouldn't be either. And like I said, he's had so much time now. Joe Flacco's had so much time now. I try to defend Joe Flacco so much, but I can't defend him no more. I can't defend him no more because every season he finds some way just to disappoint me in some way. I can't defend him no more. He can't be called elite until he actually gets back to the playoffs. And
Yeah.
he used to make the playoffs every year. Now he has
Hmm.
not been back to the playoffs. What 3 years now? Has it been three? I think it's going on three. And it's like
Yeah,
if
it's
I'm not.
going on three, and they've been very inconsistent. Moreover, the last 3 out of 4 years, Cincinnati has ruined their playoff hopes, and they've been in control of their playoff destiny for the last 3 years actually, where they were about 8-6, 7-5, and they would lose the last 2 games or lose the last 3 games, and it would all be based on quarterback play that couldn't get anything done. Moved in the ball on third down, he turned the ball over. It's all on his shoulders.
Right. Let me ask you something. What you being like I said, with you being still a fan, what team scares you the most?
In the
Out of
AFC,
AFC North. Yeah, AFC North. In the AFC North, this is your division.
probably I think it would still be Baltimore because in Cincinnati, them still being led by Marvin Lewis, it's gonna continually be the same thing because they need a culture change. It's not necessarily players. It's just they need a culture change. They have the offensive pieces. You have an AJ Green. You have Giovanni Bernard. I think Hill ended up leaving. I'm not sure
Yeah,
if he's there or not.
he went to
But
the Titans.
oh, he went to the Titans. Yeah. So, but they have their number one back now in Mixon. So he's gonna be there. So you have a decent offense. Defensively, they continually have the same problems with the penalties. So unless they get that changed, they're not gonna get back to the playoffs like they were doing for the first 5 years of Andy Dalton's career there. As for Cleveland, it's gonna take some time. I'd say maybe in about 3 or 4 years, depending on how the players progress, Cleveland could become a problem in the AFC. But it's going to continually be Baltimore because John Harbaugh knows how to coach very well. But if Flacco can get the quarterback play down, Baltimore can get back to what they were doing in the early 2010s, where they were contending with the Patriots, constantly in a battle with the Steelers to see who'd win the division. It's all based on quarterback play because the receivers are a revolving door, but they don't necessarily need a number one receiver. They just need a running back who can give you about 600 to 800 yards per season and a defense that can take the ball away, and they'll be all right. So I think that the threat for me is going to be Baltimore.
Yeah, I say I agree with you. I say I think Baltimore is definitely still that threat for y'all. I live in Cincinnati, so that's another thing. And y'all, I gotta listen to Cincinnati fans complain and everything, how they're not good at anything, complaining about Andy Dalton and Marvin, which I do agree with them with Marvin. I don't like Marvin. I think Marvin's a great person. He's a great person, and
Mm-hmm.
he's a great coach. I just don't think it's after a time you have to say it's enough. And Paul Brown has not said it's enough. Well, Mike Brown. Mike Brown has not said it's enough yet, and he's going to keep him around until the wheels fall off. He needs to let him go, though. I
Yeah.
honestly think it's time for him to let him go. He can't control his players. Like, I love Adam Jones, and I love, um, what's his name? Vontaze
Oh,
Burfict.
perfect.
Yeah, perfect. But it's after a while though, you got to think like you can't control these people, and they're gonna keep doing what they're gonna do. Vontaze Burfict's gonna keep doing dumb stuff until he gets kicked out the league. Like he's gonna keep doing dumb stuff, and like it's like to a point though, like you can't control these people. So it's time for you to go ahead and just stop playing around and need to fire Marvin. You had him here. He has not won a playoff game for you yet. It's time for him to go. If you have not had a playoff game out of 7 games, you're 0-7 in the playoffs. Games that you should have won. You lost 2 times to the Texans. The Texans were good, but they had Matt Schaub at quarterback. There's no
Mm-hmm.
way that you should have lost to Matt Schaub at quarterback. Arian Foster was amazing running back. Yeah, y'all pretty much lost to Arian Foster. And y'all
Yeah,
lost to
pretty
Hunter.
much. Yeah, they lost to Arian Foster. Then you have a different. I believe it was a couple years back. They lost to the. Was it the? No, not the Jets. I think it was. They lost to Pittsburgh twice under
Yeah.
Marvin Lewis. They lost to the Texans twice. And I think there was two other
They
teams that
lost to the
I'm
Jets too, I
forgetting.
think. Did they lose to the Jets?
Back in 2008, 2009. I don't think they went to the playoffs. No, I think 2009 they no, the Jets beat the Colts. So
Yeah.
I don't yeah, I don't think it was Cincinnati. But they just they can't get it done in the postseason. It's very weird. Marvin Lewis is a great coordinator. As a head coach, I don't think he
Yes.
can get it done.
Yes. I definitely agree with you on that.
What
But
do you think about in the because given that you're a Broncos fan, you're now in what I believe for probably the last 3 years the toughest division in the NFL, the AFC West, where you have the Kansas City Chiefs that are always good in the regular season. You got an up and coming Oakland Raiders team, which I have always loved John Gruden, and now he has a ton of pieces around him. So I think they're going to be making a lot of noise. And you always have the Los Angeles Chargers, where now that their team is remaining healthy, because over the last 4 years they've been dealing with injuries on top of injuries on top of injuries. But when you see their healthy, so who do you see in your division that'll be the biggest threat for the Broncos?
so right now, at the moment, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna give you the complete honest. I think we are the fourth best team in the division right now. Until we get it, like I said, we got Case Keenum. I think our defense is still better than everybody's. We got Case Keenum though, so I'm not sold on Case Keenum. I think Case Keenum had an amazing year. So with that being said, though, I definitely think we can beat the Chargers. I think the Chargers, though, I think the Chargers, which people might think I'm crazy, I think the Chargers was going to win the division this year. I think they had the chance to win
Hmm.
it last year. Every time the Chargers lose, what happens is they lose in the last minute or two. They don't never lose a game. They don't get blown out. With Phillip Rivers, they do not get blown out. Their defense is amazing. They got Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram over there. They got, like I said, arguably the best cornerback in the league with Casey Hayward. I think their team is Melvin Gordon and the new guy. What's the wide receiver they got last year? I'm trying to think of his name. He's from Florida. Though. I mean, he's from
Oh,
Alabama.
was it
No,
from Clemson?
Clemson.
Was it
Mike,
Williams?
Mike Williams. They have Mike
Yeah.
Williams. Mike Williams, he didn't play last year like that, but when he did play, he looked good. I think they're going to win this division. I'm not too sold, though, on the Raiders' defense. I think I've been telling people, like I said, they have Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack is amazing. He's amazing. My main thing with their defense is, though, they don't have cornerbacks. They don't
Yeah.
have cornerbacks. They don't have that middle linebacker. All they have is Khalil Mack, and they base it off of him. They need to give him that help that he's going to be able to say, oh, we're scared of everybody else on this field. So guess what? It's time for us to actually try to do something different. They're going to keep airing the ball out against them. They picked up Ron Conley last year in the first year. Like I said, I'm a big Ohio State fan. That's my college. I love Ohio State. Ron Conley's he's a good cornerback, and once he develops, I think he's going to actually be good. But he didn't play last year like that. He got injured, so we don't know what he's going to do. They had Sean Smith last year too. He was a bum. He was a bum. Like they need help in the cornerback section. They have Reggie Nelson back there too, if I'm not mistaken. Reggie Nelson, like I said, he's getting old. He might not be there anymore. I don't think he is though, but he was bad last year. They just need help on the defense end. I think on the wires, I think on the offense end, they're fine. They got Derek Carr. Derek Carr is a great quarterback, a great quarterback. Marshawn Lynch over there, and you have what's Amari Cooper. I think they're
Yeah, they
amazing
got
over there.
Cooper now. They got Jordy Nelson,
Yep,
who's
I
coming
forgot
over
they got
from the Packers, and then yesterday they got Martavis Bryant. So they got themselves a
Gig and
core
Martavis.
right there.
Wow. How do you feel about that too? How do you feel about y'all? Like, did you like that? Them trading Martavius?
I had no problem with them trading Martavis because midway through the season he said he wanted to go anyway. Then he recounted his statements. But I was more upset that they just traded him for just a third round pick. I felt like you can get more out of him because there's more teams in the NFL, about 4 or 5 that are willing to throw a first, not necessarily a first round, but a second round pick for a guy like Martavis Bryant. Or there's other teams that are willing to give 2 picks for a guy like Martavis Bryant because I don't think he's proven to where he's a solidified number 1 or number 2. Because he had that one great rookie season and then he got suspended, came back last year, and he looked very sluggish. So I felt like we could get more for a third round pick, but we got something out of it. So I'm not really opposed to it because Juju Smith proved himself as a solidified number 2 receiver.
For sure. And then I didn't hit on the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that, like I said, the Chiefs have the same team as last year. The biggest difference is everybody knows they don't have Alex Smith no more. They have Patrick Mahomes at him. So we're gonna see how Patrick Mahomes actually looks. I think Patrick Mahomes is gonna be very. He's gonna be very good. This first season though, he's gonna actually be starting. I don't feel like he's gonna do that great. I see them finishing 8-8 or 9-7. I don't see them making the playoffs this year. But like I said though, it all depends on Patrick Mahomes. That's the only thing I see. It all depends on Patrick Mahomes. I'm interested to see how Kareem Hunt does in the second season. Of course, he had that great rookie season. I want to see how he does in the second season though, because everybody was saying he was the best running back in the league, which is BS. And I do want to talk to you about that too. Eh, um, Everybody seems to forget that Le'Veon Bell. They always, every time there's a new running back on the scene, they say he's the best running back. They say they're the best running back in the league. Who do you think is the best running back in the league?
I think it's Le'Veon Bell number 1, and originally I had David Johnson at number 2, but because we didn't get to see him last year, I would have to flex Zeke in front of him. But Zeke has the benefit of a phenomenal offensive line, but you can see what he'll do by himself as well. Because when he's in the open field, he's able to finish runs, able to evade people. So I'll have him number 2. I can't I can't ignore David Johnson coming back, so I'll probably have him. He's up there as well. But my best running back in the league, it's gotta be Le'Veon Bell because he's able to do it all.
I agree with you, and I literally our list is the exact same. I have Le'Veon, Zeke, and then David right there at 3. Um, Todd Gurley's knocking on the door too. If David Johnson doesn't perform this season, Todd Gurley's gonna be knocking on that door. But I
Yeah.
think Le'Veon Bell is definitely that definitive one. Like, he's been so consistent for so long, and people forget that like he's so consistent that people want to keep on knocking him, saying he's not the best running back, but he obviously is. The team changes the whole way the team changes. The team changes when he comes back. When he doesn't play and he comes back, team changes. He affects so much. The man is amazing. Like Le'Veon Bell is amazing. And
Yeah, it's almost the same thing with when they talk about receivers and they talk about who's the best receiver in the game, and they'll compare Julio and Antonio Brown. But if you look at throughout the course of the season, Antonio Brown will be putting up 80-yard, 90-yard, 100+ yard games week in and week out. Julio Jones will have a game where he has 150, 170, 200 yards, but he'll have about 10 games where he's about 40, 50, 60 yard games. He'll have huge explosion games, but outside of that, he's almost just a guy who's a threat on the field but doesn't really get the ball. Antonio Brown, every single game, week in, week out, he's a difference maker. In fact, I believe if he didn't get hurt against the Patriots, he would have probably won MVP because Tom Brady won it on a technicality that Todd Gurley got eliminated in the first round, and now I think because the NFL honors is right before the Super Bowl, they take into account the playoffs.
I definitely think they
Yeah,
do.
because when Matt Ryan won it last year, I think he only won it because he beat Aaron Rodgers in the NFC Championship. Had
Yeah,
Rodgers won, Rodgers would have probably been the MVP again. So Gurley ended up losing early. AB lost in the first round, and there was about Wentz got hurt for the season, and there was one other person who was up for MVP, and they lost as well. So they were like, okay, Tom Brady's the only one remaining. He's going to the Super Bowl. We're gonna give it to him. But I think Le'Veon Bell's best running back in the league, Antonio Brown best receiver in the league.
I agree with you, especially on that wide receiver thing. When I tell people all the time, I agree with you so much because I love Julio, and I think Julio has a better athletic body than, of course, than Antonio Brown. But that's what makes Antonio Brown so great. He's smaller, and he also knows how to. He's not as fast as Julio either. That's what makes it better. Like he gets open and he does his stuff every single game. With Julio, you can go a game where he has 16 yards or 20 yards. That's not going to happen with Antonio Brown. He's going to have 80 or 90 yards every single game, week in and week out. And I think that's the biggest difference between him and every other wide receiver. Like I said, I'm a big AJ Green fan, But Antonio Brown made that. He made that separation for him a couple years ago when I saw that Antonio Brown every week has at least 80 yards a week, and he's amazing at it. And like you can't dispute that. I just don't think you can dispute saying that Antonio Brown is not the best wide receiver no more. He's definitely the best wide receiver no more. And I think it's asinine that people say it's otherwise. He's the best wide receiver right now.
And a lot of people like to say he'll cry for the ball or he'll because he gets a ton of targets. But I look at it from this standpoint: if you're getting a ton of targets, are you open or are you not open? And if you look at the passes that he gets towards him, he does get the ball forced to him sometimes when he's in double coverage, but he makes the catches. And
Right.
if you're throwing the ball that like Julio, there's times where he's triple covered, they would throw him the ball and he'd make the catch, but that doesn't happen as often as Antonio Brown. And you saw what happened when Antonio Brown went down in the production of the offense. But when Julio gets hurt in the production of Atlanta's offense, they're in an offense where Matt Ryan can diversify the ball everywhere. And now with the addition of Calvin Ridley, if Julio were to get hurt again, Atlanta's offense, I don't think it would slow down as much. Julio's a big time all pro future Hall of Famer, but you got guys who you can get the ball to. You got Hooper at tight end. You got a Ridley who's coming in as a rookie. You still got Sanu. You got Coleman in the backfield. If you could bring in a two-back set with Freeman and
Freeman.
Coleman, and you know Freeman's a great out of the backfield catching running back. So they got the pieces to do that.
No, that's what I said. I agree with you. Like that's why I said like Antonio Brown's the best running back. I mean wide receiver. Le'Veon Bell's the best running back. That's why I said that duo, that trio that I have over there is amazing. Like I said, and y'all always are gonna be contenders. Like I said, even until afterwards. And let me ask you something. What are y'all gonna do? Like y'all think are y'all gonna give Joshua Dobbs a chance after Big Ben retires? Do y'all think y'all are or no?
I honestly I don't think so. I don't think so. I think Dobbs is going to be around, and then when it becomes clear that Ben is going to be leaving, they're either going to try to draft a quarterback because I doubt they're going to look through free agency. Pittsburgh doesn't really operate like that for some reason. So I'm not sure if Dobbs is going to get a chance because I don't think he's ready. I went to one of the preseason games last year when they played against the Giants, and I watched Dobbs for I think he played about a full half. And it just seems like his composure in the pocket, he doesn't seem NFL ready yet. So it'll take some time. Granted, it was just his rookie season, so he has time to develop. But I'm not sure. Maybe in a situation if Pittsburgh were blowing teams out and then he has to go into the game in the fourth quarter to just finish. Granted, they're going to try to run the clock out, but there are some times where he's going to have to pass the ball to find out what his poise is. But I don't know. I'm not as of right now. I don't think they're going to give Dobbs a chance to take over the reins at quarterback.
I agree. I say I was wondering about that. That's something I always wonder about. But We go motion out of football and go and hit basketball for a little, and then we let you go. You got the 3 games tonight. You got let me go by game. You got Toronto, Washington. Toronto, of course, is up 3-2. Do you see them closing it out today, or Washington evening up the series?
I think Washington's gonna even it up because Toronto, I think they're gonna have the lead probably going into halftime, and in the second half, as long as John Wall and Bradley Beal don't get into foul trouble, I think they'll be okay. Moreover, if they use the same blueprint, Washington that is, if they use the same blueprint that they did in Game 3 and Game 4, and just attack the basket, get Valanciunas into foul trouble, get those other guys into foul trouble, they'll be able to win the game. Just contain DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry, and you'll be able to get the W. So I think because it's in Washington, I think they'll be able to get the win.
I definitely agree with you. I think they're gonna even up the series. I actually think they have that chance. Like I said, I think they got that chance that they can win. What's called? They have that chance they can win this series too. It's gonna be tough because they're going back to Toronto. But like I said though, it's you got Kyle Lowry and DeRozan, and I'm never too fond of them in the playoffs. They've been playing way better than they usually are. So we're gonna see. I actually got the Wizards though taking the rest of this series, but we're gonna
Yeah,
see though. Might be
me too.
wrong, but I think they will be. Um, Game after that, you got LeBron. You got LeBron and his Cavs versus Victor Oladipo and the Pacers. They're down 3-2. The Pacers down 3-2. They're in Indiana. You think they're getting the winner, or LeBron finishes it out? The King finishes this one out.
Originally, I had the Pacers winning this game, but for some reason, I think they're gonna close it out here and win it in 6. I think LeBron's gonna be able to close it out here and win it in 6 because he's gonna attack the basket. And I'm not sure if the others on the Cavs are going to be able to knock down the jump shots because you've seen it last game where LeBron would throw phenomenal passes, and for some apparent reason, they could not knock down the threes. So we're going to find out if the others can make the threes. But as for LeBron, him attacking the basket, he's unstoppable. So if he does that same blueprint, I don't think the Pacers will be able to counter. And Victor Oladipo's production, game by game by game by game by game, has been going substantially down. So if he does not have 15 by halftime or maybe 20 by the end of the third quarter, they're gonna stay home.
I agree with you. I think I actually LeBron's gonna close it out today. I feel like LeBron's gonna close it out. It's gonna be tough for Indiana to stop him. No one can stop LeBron. I mean, like I said, I'm not that big a LeBron fan, but I think he's a great player, one of the greatest of all time. And when he wants to score, he can. He can.
Yeah.
He can score whenever he wants to. So I think this is the game that he says is enough is enough. Everybody's been talking trash about him. He's gonna go out there. He's gonna put up 40, like he's been doing. He's gonna put up a triple double. He's gonna have to regardless because his teammates aren't doing anything for him right now. He's gonna have to put up a triple double. But I think it's the game that they close him out. Um, we'll see about next round wise though for him. But I think that definitely this is the game that they close him out. The Pacers are done though after this game. I feel like. And
Yeah.
then you got the last game. You got Utah and OKC. Of course, Utah's up 3-2. They should have won. They definitely should have won yesterday. They let them come back from 45. I think they got two lax, and they got two lax, and they just started slacking off. And once that happened, they came back from 45 and lost the game. And it shouldn't happen. So what is your take? Who do you think wins this one?
Originally, I had Utah winning it all and just closing it out now because of what happened last game where they were able to take such a lead early on. So I think they'll be able to come out to a lead again. However, it's just about how the game ended last game. I think OKC can turn this entire series around and not only win this game, but go into 7 and win it in 7 because they recognize how to beat the Pacers, not the Pacers, but they figured out how to beat the Jazz, where if you attack the paint and you can get Gobert into foul trouble and you get him off the floor, that team now has no interior defense. So what they need to do is stop with all the excess jump shot shooting and go attack the basket because Russell Westbrook has been doing okay on Rubio since he said he was going to shut it down. Defensively, he's been doing all right, but offensively, he was missing a ton of shots. If you attack the basket and get to the foul line, you'll beat this Jazz team no problem. So I honestly think Paul George, Russell Westbrook, they're probably going to combine for maybe about 60 points tonight, and they'll win Game 6 and go on to win Game 7. Not Houston, but Utah had their chance to close it out when they were up 25. They got lax, like you said. I think they're going to lose this game, and then they're going to be in desperation and crumble under pressure.
So yeah, it's tough for this one. Like I said, they had their chance last game. I'm still gonna give it to them. I think Utah closes it out in OKC today. I think Rubio has a big game today. I think Rubio puts up 25 points with like 6, 7 assists.
Hmm.
I think Donovan Mitchell puts up 20. I think and then Rudy Gobert, he stays in the game, hopefully. But like I said though, Russell Westbrook's smart, and he knows all he has to do is attack the basket. He's going to get a foul. He's going to get a foul. Paul George is going to get. Paul George needs to get out that. He needs to get out. And I know Paul George. He's probably scared. He doesn't want to get hurt again. So he does not like going to the rim as much as he used to. So he doesn't go to the rim as much as he used to. He needs to realize though, if he goes to the rim, he's going to get a foul though. He's going to get a foul. Rudy Gobert is going to foul him. That's what they need to realize though. So if they can actually get Rudy Gobert in foul trouble, like you said, I don't see no reason. I don't see them having no problem in beating them. But I just feel like the Jazz are going to win this one. I think they're going to end. They're going to end the series. But for them in the next round, I don't know because they got so lax, and I just saw so many weaknesses. I see so many weaknesses in them, but they're going to play. They're going to play Houston. So regardless, yeah, I don't see them beating Houston. But we'll
Yeah,
see.
I don't see them beating Houston. The interesting series is gonna be the Pelicans and the Warriors because if
Oh yeah,
Steph Curry doesn't come back, I believe the Pelicans can make this a series because Drew Holiday's playing out of his mind and
plays
Anthony
amazing.
Davis he can't be stopped and Rondo his tenacity.
Playoff Rondo.
Whoever is supposed to be guarding this guy, it's not for some reason. I feel like Rondo can give him 15 points if they're playing against the Warriors, and you know he's going to get 10 plus assists. So it's going to be interesting how things play out.
It is, and that's why I said I think that's going to be the most interesting series next series. I mean next round. That's going to be the most interesting series. You got, like I said, nobody on their team can guard Kevin Durant, but nobody on their team can guard Anthony Davis. And Drew Holiday's been playing out of his mind. You got Klay Thompson, of course, and then you have Rondo. You got playoff Rondo. I've been telling people for a while. Rondo gets in the playoffs, he plays like a whole different player. You don't never see him play like this until he gets to the playoffs. So
Yeah, you're
it's gonna
right.
be a fun series to watch. Once you see that series, I can't wait to see how that series unfolds. I think the Warriors are gonna win, but I think it's gonna be a hard fought series though. So that's why I think it's gonna be a fun series. Hopefully Steph comes back. I do miss watching Steph. I know a lot of people hate on Steph, but I miss watching Steph though. So hopefully he comes back. We will see though.
Yeah, for sure.
And then last thing, I've got two more things. Who do you think the rookie of the year is?
Um, I'd say Donovan Mitchell. I'm
Donovan
going
Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell.
Why do you feel Donovan?
Well, cause with regarding with Ben Simmons, he had a phenomenal year, but I look at it like he had the opportunity when a lot of people say, "Oh, he's not a rookie." I use the NFL sort of thing because if you're in the NFL, you miss the entire first year, and then you finally show up for the second year. You're not a rookie; you're just a second year player. So with Ben Simmons, he had the opportunity to. He knew what team he was going to be on. He knew what players he had. He knew what sort of offense they ran, what sort of defense they ran. He was more prepared for what was to come, and he had opportunities to scrimmage with the guys who are already in the NBA. Donovan Mitchell came in completely blind. You didn't know where you were going. Found out you was going to Utah. Came in, and he's been tearing it up every single game. So I think, and moreover, he's the number one, like he's the scoring option on his team. He's the guy. Simmons has the benefit of Embiid that's there, and you got jump shooters all around. Most of the Utah Jazz games, it's been Mitchell who's been bailing the teams out. And if you look at the playoff series, it's been Mitchell who has gotten them those wins. So I'm giving it to Mitchell rather than giving it to Simmons.
I understand. I'm a big Donovan Mitchell fan. Big Donovan Mitchell fan. I think he's gonna be great coming out of college. I love him a lot. Great scorer and everything, and I think he's gonna be a great player down the line. So if we're going off of that point, as far as what scholar, because Ben Simmons isn't a rookie technically, because like you said in the NFL, he would not be considered a rookie. He'd be considered a second year player. But just how they gave Blake Griffin his rookie of the year, and they gave Embiid his rookie of the year, they're gonna give it to Ben Simmons. I feel like that. I think Ben Simmons is a better player than him. Don't get me wrong. I think Ben Simmons definitely is a better player than him.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
like I said though, I do not feel like he is a rookie. But that's what they're gonna give it to though. And it's tough because Donovan Mitchell is actually a rookie, and I feel bad for him because he's missing out on his rookie of the year. But it's tough luck. At the end of the day, it's tough luck. I feel bad for him, but Ben's gonna get the award. I feel like Ben's gonna get the award. He might not though because all the publicity that everybody's been getting and stuff. They've been giving Donovan because wearing these little not a rookie shirt and stuff. So it's gonna be fun to see who gets it.
Yeah, and also it depends on. I think the playoffs is going to have to be taken into account too, because if Mitchell gets eliminated, in the first round, but the Sixers go on to the conference finals or anything, the more tape that Simmons gets, the more his opportunity to get the Rookie of the Year is going to be, because he's going to the second round. It's a guarantee. So, but for Mitchell, they got to close out the game today. So it really, I think it's gonna go to whoever goes further in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree with you. First, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. And then like I said, I'm a Heat fan too. Yeah, we're both Heat fans here. Do you think we're going to get anything in the free agency or make any trades to help us actually have that definitive star? Because right now, all I see our team as is another Nuggets. I don't know if you remember the Nuggets teams when Melo had left, but they made the playoffs, winning like 50 games a year, and they were just a bunch of great role players. But we wouldn't get that. The Nuggets wouldn't get that far. That's
Yeah.
all I see our team as right now. Until we get that definitive star, do you think we'll get one here soon or no?
I think soon Pat Riley can work his magic. I'm hoping that he does and make a move for Kawhi, but I don't. I honestly do not know because this team, if they bring Wade back and he decides not to retire, I don't know who they're willing to give up to bring in a big name. Because I don't think in the paint, regarding with Whiteside, if they make a trade to get rid of him, they gotta be able to bring somebody in who can replicate that same sort of presence and add more. Because teams will be willing to give up the house to get Whiteside because of his
Yeah,
size and the stature. So maybe there's gonna be teams willing to give up a lot of pieces. So I'm hoping. My big hope is to get Kawhi. Maybe if you were to able to get somebody like a Paul George without having to give up Whiteside in the paint, they could work cohesively. So I really don't know. This year and next year's free agency, it's gonna be Miami's opportunity to make really really big moves because they're gonna have the money for it. A lot of people's contracts are gonna expire in at the end of next year, at the end of the year after next year. So I don't know. But as for this upcoming year, I'm hoping that they can, but I don't think anything's gonna happen immediately.
I agree with you. Like I said, hopefully he can make that magic in Kawhi because that's the only one I can actually see us getting. It actually kind of fits Pat Riley's persona too. And I would love to see Kawhi in the Heat uniform. But like I said though, right now I think it's gonna be tough for us to get anything as far as like free agency wise. We could, like I said, we could definitely pick up some more role players, and I feel like that's what we'll end up doing. That's what we'll end up doing. I don't want, like I said, I like Whiteside, but I don't want Whiteside. I think Whiteside's defense is over. I think I love his help defense,
Yeah,
but his own ball defense, I think his own ball defense is crap. I don't like it. I think he gets a little.
I agree.
I
He
think he gets a
reminds
little.
me a lot of Serge Ibaka when
Yep,
Serge was a phenomenal, matter of fact, still is a phenomenal help defender. But when it comes to one on one, he's extremely overrated. And
yep.
when he was in
I
OK,
agree with you.
when he was where he was in OKC, and everybody was saying, "Man, this guy, defensive player of the year," all of that. It's all on help defense. He wasn't no, "I'm gonna shut you down one on one." He's not like that. So if we were to get rid of Whiteside, I have no problem with it. I'm all for it as long as we can get somebody in the paint who will play well. Because Bam, he has to develop.
He
It's going to
does.
take a couple of years for him to develop. He's very raw right now. So I have no issue with getting rid of Whiteside. Hopefully, if we were able to make a trade and get Kawhi off of San Antonio like that, that'd be wonderful. They gave us maybe if well, I wouldn't want Aldridge because Aldridge is aging,
He's
or
aging,
Gasol
and
because
I
he's
think
aging
Aldridge
too.
complains. He complains a lot too. I've noticed that about Audrey. He complains a lot. I don't think he can. I don't think he'll mess well with Eric Spoelstra's and Pat Riley's personality. He complains a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So I don't know. whoever we can give up to get a big man. Hopefully, if anything, I was looking at the Clippers when they gave the big contract to Griffin, and they started talking about they possibly wanted to move him before he ended up going to Detroit. I was thinking, what if they gave a move to get Griffin in Miami? But now he's solidified in
Yeah,
Detroit. He's not going anywhere, so it's gonna be interesting.
yeah, for sure. And last thing, final favorites.
My final favorites. I can't in the East for some reason. I can't pick against LeBron. For some reason, this guy he always finds a way. But if not the Cavaliers, I'm going to Sixers. But for some reason, I can't picture any team in the East that's not with LeBron. So I'm saying the Cavs get to the finals, and as for the West, I think this is the Rockets' year. I don't know why. I think the Warriors are gonna play against the Rockets in the conference finals, and they're gonna lose. Or the Warriors might lose in the second round, depending on if Curry comes back or not. So it really depends on if Curry's there or not. Because if it's just Durant and and uh and Thompson, I don't think they're gonna be able to get past the Rockets. So it really depends on the health of Steph Curry, but I think it's gonna be the Rockets versus the Cavs in the final.
Okay. I definitely agree with you on the Cavs point because the Cavs, I can't pick against LeBron. It's LeBron James. He's been in the finals 8 years. I think it's 8 years now. You lost count. That's how you know it's bad. When you lose count of how many times somebody went to the finals in a row, that's how you know it's bad. So I think he's been to the finals 8 years. I'm not picking against LeBron. If it is a team that's going to beat them, it's going to be the Sixers. But I don't think that's this. I don't think it's their year yet. I think next year maybe when LeBron leaves the Cavs, maybe. But like I said though, it'll be interesting. But I still think the Cavs are going to get the think they're gonna get to the finals. For the West, like I said, it's like you said, it's tricky. So I'm actually still gonna pick the Warriors. I'm gonna pick the Warriors. Only reason being, I still don't have that much faith in Chris Paul and James Harden. Last last 3 4 years, they've been performing this year, and they have a way better team than they usually would have. But we always have to remember though, Chris Paul had Blake Griffin, Jamal Crawford, DeAndre Jordan. Could never get past that first round, get to the finals. James Harden, I can't blame him either. But even last year though, he lost to Manu Ginobili and them. You can't blame him for that too much, but they had a great team. But I feel like they're gonna resort back to what they were doing. Only way I do see the Warriors beating them though is if they have Steph. If they don't get Steph, then the Rockets make it to the finals easily. I think Steph comes back this round, and he gets back to his form, and I think that's how they get back to the finals because you need Steph. Kevin Durant might be the best player on the Warriors. He is the best player on the Warriors, but Steph Curry is the most important player. I think Steph Curry is
Yeah,
definitely
for sure.
important.
I agree. Because honestly, because Chris Paul, it's funny with him because he's such a great player, and honestly, in my opinion, he can go down as the greatest point guard of all time.
He
And
can.
it's hilarious to me because when it comes to defense, when you think of the greatest point guards of all time, who comes to mind is Gary Payton, probably the greatest defensive point guard of all time. But if you look at the accolades between Chris Paul and Gary Payton, Chris Paul as a defender, if you look at the
He's
statistics,
better.
he's a better defender than Gary Payton. So but he's never been to the Western Conference Finals. So it's gonna be on Paul, Harden, and Capella because when the three of them are together, they've only lost 4 games this season. So they
Yep.
all gotta show up in the conference final. If when they beat, whether they're playing against OKC or Utah, I have them beating either one.
Oh yeah,
But
for sure.
in the conference final, all three have to show up. And if they get to the finals, they have to continue to replicate the same sort of statistics because this first round, Paul showed up every game. Harden, he had a game where he only had 12 points and they won by 20. So as long as the supporting cast is playing well, I think the Houston Rockets can get it done. But like you said, if Steph is there, that's a different Warriors team. But I'm hoping both play at full power and both teams really perform.
For sure. I agree with you, man. All right. Are you going to end it? Any other last words you want to say, man, before we end this?
Well, I enjoyed coming on, and the other series that's on between Boston and Milwaukee.
Oh,
I have
oh,
Milwaukee winning. I have Milwaukee winning that series
I do
because they
too.
do have the momentum going into Game 7, and for some apparent reason, I feel as if Chris Middleton's gonna go and have a 30-point game out of nowhere because that dude's been shooting lights out. when the Greek Freak decides, hey, I'm gonna go to the paint, he can't be stopped.
Can't be
So
stopped.
I think they're gonna go on and win. But as for this upcoming NFL season, I'm just hoping Pittsburgh can go and win that seventh Lombardi, and that would be great for me.
I understand that, man. It's gonna be interesting to see. It's always a pleasure watching them play against the Ravens and the Bengals because you know it's gonna be a hard fought game with some dirty play. It's lovely though. I love watching it though. It signifies old football to me, so it's always fun watching them play. So it is gonna be nice watching them play and everything. And like I said, I appreciate you coming on, man. Taking your time out your busy schedule and coming on. Great show. I love it, man. I appreciate you. Keep doing your videos, man. They're amazing, hilarious.
Most definitely, man. Thanks so much. I appreciate your support.
Of course, brother. Hey, take it easy, man.
You too.